Alright, it's a quick video how to upgrade or install a fish finder on the Lowrance Fishing Machine, the walkthrough console type. This one's a 2016. Just by looking at the pictures, it should be the same all the way up to 2020. They have the same basic shape. Don't quote me on that, I don't know. Just by looking at pictures, it looks like it should be the same deal. Maybe somebody could respond and tell me if this is different, but this is what I did. This is where the original dinky 4-inch fish finder went, and that was the hole that was on the boat when I bought it, that they sent the power and the transducer through. I just removed that old 4-inch one and then used the screws that were mounting the bracket to fill in the holes so there won't be holes. And then I added this ram mount, ball mount, which I love. Ram products, really good. And then I just put some M4 stainless steel hardware. Always go stainless steel on a boat. And here's my 12-volt power, network cable, transducer cable, and I'll show you how to fish all this through. Go underneath the dash now, right underneath here. All right, quick look under the dash. Sorry, I'm holding a headlamp and a GoPro at the same time. I don't know how good this is gonna look on the old YouTube, but there's the hole that I was showing you at the top of my dash. Let's see if I can hook these both. And here are the 3 cables I pointed out: transducer, network cable, 12-volt power. Come down into this nest here. This is the back of the gauges, just for reference. The old rat's nest of wires. I tried to clean it up. It was even messier than this when I first brought the boat home. They don't do that good a job of cable management when you get these boats, but it's a small complaint. It's a pretty solid boat. So anyway, because I'm running a NEMA 2000, I have a little hub here, and I have one network cable. This is the one that's going to the top here and feeding out into the dash. That feeds my fish finder at the helm. This cable here is what's giving power to this hub here, and I'll show you where that ended up. And then this is the cable, another network cable that goes to the bow of the boat, so that my bow mounted fish finder is networked with the one at the helm. And I just kind of hooked it up under here like this. How did I power the fish finder? So the fish finder here that's sitting on the dash, it's a simple, just your basic Lowrance cable that comes with any fish finder. I run it down here. Then these low boats come with this little fuse box. And here's the 12-volt power. Or I'm sorry, this one is. And so I have the Lowrance fish finder hooked up to this fuse here, or this junction here, the positive, and then it's just grounded out right there. This hub here is getting power from this here. And I'm definitely going to fix all this. My soldering iron was busted when I hooked this up, but I'm going to properly solder these 2 cables together instead of using this clip. And then I'm going to put some proper heat shrink on there so it's a little more solid. Definitely do that. Take the time to do that, because I've already went on a trip and my ground was wiggly. I kept having to wiggle it to get a proper ground, and it's because of this whole mess. But I got my soldering iron replaced and I'm going to fix that. So that's how you power the fish finder that sits here. Just use this box. Then how do you get the transducer to the stern of the boat where the transducer mounting bracket is? Well, you're going to go through this side of the boat where this throttle is, just for reference so you know where I'm pointing. It goes through here, the transducer cable, and it's a little bit of a maze to get through it. Not as straightforward as it looks, but it's pretty simple if you have a fish tape. Let me grab the fish tape so you can see what that looks like. This is the fish tape I'm talking about. If you haven't seen one of these, you can get them at Home Depot for about 10 or 12 bucks. This one worked for this boat. It's 25 feet. Should be good for any of these boats, or long enough. And if you don't know how it works, you can pull on this and extract the tape. It's a little steel wire. It's got a hook on the end. And a little trick I use is I put a little gaff tape here and I tape it up so that when you're fishing this through, you don't barb any of the existing cabling that is running through the tunnel or any conduit you use this on. So I take this tape and I close it up. And I'll show you how to route the transducer through. So we're at the back of the boat. Here's the transducer mounted to a transducer bracket. And first you mount the transducer here. You'll have like 25 feet of this transducer cable or so, depending on which fish finder you have. And I just run it up the boat, or up the back of the boat here. Run it to this batch of cabling. Run the transducer through this little rubber tunnel here. And fish it all out. It's going to end up in the battery box here. This rubber thing here ends up right there. And so you're going to fish all your transducer cable out, so it's all in here. And then this is where you're going to start. You're going to route the cable from here. And then you're going to see a little hole here. That's it. So now this is the starboard side of the boat, you can see. So you're going to feed it through that hole. But how do you get the cable all the way through? You got to use the fish tape. I'll show you where to start that. So to start getting that transducer cable through this side of the boat here, pull about 8 to 10 foot of this fish tape out with this hook taped up so it doesn't snag anything inside the tunnel. And so just for reference, this is where we're at on the boat. Okay. This is the easiest way I've found to fish the fish tape through, because at first I tried to feed it from here. I tried to feed it here, but it kept getting snagged up. But you don't want to start there. You want to start here underneath the throttle. You'll see there's this little tunnel here. You can see that there. So inside this tunnel, you'll see there's a hole there. A hole right there. Inside, it's kind of going up right there. So that's why you don't want to start the fish tape here. You don't want to start it here. You want to get the wire here. So what you need to do is start feeding the fish tape from this spot here. Feed it from here. Just again, it's this spot here. Feed the fish tape starting here. You're going to feed that fish tape all the way down from that spot I just pointed at. And eventually you'll hit this hole here, and you can pop the hook out and then connect the transducer cable end to the fish tape from here. Tape it all up, make sure there's nothing that's going to snag. Then start, push the fish tape and the transducer head in there so it's just cable. And then from this end, like I showed you, start pulling the transducer cable this way. Get it all out. And only leave enough slack on this end so that you can properly zip tie and route all the cabling like I got here. Just give yourself that much here. Everything else, have it all come out this way. So this is the tricky part. that I run into. So if you see this cable, this hole here, it's really, really difficult to get the transducer up to here by feeding the fish tape through here. It was tough because it's hard to feed the fish tape and manipulate it through this tunnel and then have it come out there. So a little trick I did was, instead of feeding the fish tape this way, what I did was I fed the fish tape in this way through here, because you can reach your hand in there and get the fish tape started. Just poke it through the hole where the rest of those cables are going and feed the fish tape out this way. Then you'll have the hook here. Then you get a piece of rope. You tie that rope or you tape it to the end of the fish tape, right? The fish tape will come out this way. Then tie a piece of rope here. Tie some rope here or tape it snug. Put a knot in it, whatever. Then you need about 10 foot of rope. No thicker than this wire, okay? Or any of these this cable. No thicker than that cable. Maybe like a you know, a rope that's like a 1/4 inch thick or so. Just something that's pretty tough but thin. Then when you have that rope knotted up there, start pulling on the fish tape from here. Pull the fish tape all the way out. Then the rope and the fish tape will end up out here. Okay, and then when you have the rope and you got the transducer cable, then join those together with tape or knot it up. Just ball it up in tape, painter's tape, electrical tape, duct tape. Then feed where that connection is up that hole. Right, so it's up the hole inside this tunnel. Then pull the rope this way, and then you'll get your transducer cable. Once you have the transducer cable here, it's just a matter of fitting it up through the dash. And then that's how you got your transducer cable properly up here, like I got mine. It's right there. If you plan to run a network cable from here in the helm, which not a lot of people are doing, a lot of high-end fish finders are Bluetooth now, but if you're still trying to run one of these old school NEMA cables, NEMA 2000, how to get a cable from the dash all the way to the bow of the boat. You know, you got your hub here. This is the hole. Feed it through this hole. Right underneath the fuse box, feed it in this hole. That's my network cable right there. Goes through this hole. I'll show you where that ends up. I just hosed my boat down. That's why it's all wet. There it is. It'll end up right there. It'll pop out. Right there. That's where it'll pop out. And from there, in this spot, you can feed that NEMA cable through that hole. Right there. And not only can you feed the NEMA cable through that hole and get it to the bow, but you can also get your 12-volt power. So if you're running a fish finder at the bow of your boat where the trolling motor is and you need to get 12 volts to it, use that hole. Feed your fish tape through on this side and go to the bow. So if you're trying to run a fish finder like I have mounted here, which again I use a ram mount stainless steel, and you need to run 12 volts to it, this is where you go. Cable, a fish finder right there. Imagine it there, I guess, because it's in my garage right now, but it's right there. The one to the right. Right there. So use your fish tape, fish your fish tape through. That'll allow you to run 12-volt power cable or a network cable or whatever. I'll go to that hole right there. Alright, that's how I got this hooked up. That hole down there. hole down there ends up right there. See, right there to the left of the charger. Right there. That's where that hole ends up. So feed your fish tape through here. That's how you're going to be able to get your power cable or whatever to the bow. Then you can hook up your trolling motor to the trolling motor battery to whatever fish finder you have up front, and that's how you power it. And that's pretty much all you need to hook up whatever you want to hook up at the helm of this boat and at the bow. Power, transducer, those are all the holes you need to know to be able to wire it all up. Just make sure you get a fish tape 25 foot and you'll be able to sort all this out. Thanks for watching.